We begin today the Gemara on Daf Kuf Yud Beis Amud Beis, 3 lines down from the top of the Yamud, where it says Tanya. Okay, so the Gemara here was discussing the halacha of a woman that could inherit from her father or from her mother, and then if she goes and gets married to someone from a different shevet, that inheritance that originated, let's say, from Shevet Reuven, could now end up by the family of her husband or her son that's from Shevet Shimon. So therefore she should only marry someone from her own shevet. Okay, so now the Gemara before discussed that she can cause the inheritance to go to a different shevet in one of two ways. Either if her husband inherits her, then her husband is from a different shevet, or if her son inherits her, so then from her son, which is from a different shevet, will transfer it to a different shevet. So here, the Gemara before discussed the sources in the pasuk for this. Here the Gemara brings a braise that teaches the psukim. Sagt the Gemara, Tanya, we learned B'sibes haben, that the pasuk that speaks about this is speaking about the son that could transfer over the Yerusha to a different shevet. And V'tanya B'sibes habal. And we also learned in the braise that explains yet another pasuk that it's the husband that would transfer over the Yerusha to a different shevet. As we'll see here in the braises, they're not really arguing regarding this inyan because there's two psukim. And they're discussing two different psukim. One pasuk where it says that you shouldn't marry out to a different shevet is saying because then the son may yarshin from a different shevet, and in another pasuk it's talking about the husband, that the husband may take it out to a different shevet. Okay, the Bach takes out the next few words here according to the Rashbam. So the Gemara brings first the pasuk. This is the first pasuk over there on this inyan where the pasuk says V'lei sisa of nachlal of Yisrael mimata el mata. She should not marry to a different shevet because then she'll cause the inheritance to be transferred over from one shevet to another. B'sibas haben akasem medaber. This pasuk is saying that this is going to happen because of the son that is inheriting from his mother. Now, atoime b'sibas haben, you say that it's the son that's transferring this over to a different shevet. Ayene ela b'sibas habal. Maybe what it's saying is that her husband would inherit her. If the husband is still alive, the husband inherits before a son. So if the husband is still alive, maybe we're talking about the husband that's inheriting her. That's how it's going out to a different shevet. So the Brisa says no, but then the pasuk later says nachla mimata lamata acher. She should not marry another shevet to cause that the Yerusha should be transferred to a different shevet. It's that second pasuk that's speaking about transferring over to a different shevet through the husband. So Hamani mekayim v'leisisav nachla of Bnei Yisrael mimata al mata. So the previous pasuk that we quoted, what is that pasuk talking about? That's talking about the son that would yarshin the mother and transfer over the inheritance to a different shevet. This is one brisa. Okay, so as you see, the approach of this brisa is it's obvious to the Tana of this brisa that the pasuk mimata el mata acher, the second pasuk, that's talking about besibas habal, when the husband transfers. And because we know that the second pasuk is talking about the husband transferring over, from that we're forced to say that the first pasuk is talking about the son that would yarshin and transfer it to a different shevet. Now here, the next brisa the Gemara brings comes to the same conclusion, but it comes to it from an opposite perspective. Tanya idach. In another brisa we learned, and this brisa starts with the second pasuk. V'leisisav nachla mimata lamata acher. She should not cause that the nachla should be transferred over to a different shevet. B'sibas haba lakasa medaber. We know that this pasuk is talking about the husband that would cause that, if he would inherit his wife. You say that that's what this pasuk is talking about. Maybe not. Maybe it's talking about that the son would yarshin, and that's how the nachla is being transferred to a different shevet. But so this brisa says, but go back to the first pasuk. We know for a fact that the first pasuk, the first pasuk is talking about the son transferring over the Yerusha to a different shevet. So so the second pasuk, when it says that you shouldn't cause the nachla to go out to mata acher, what is that pasuk talking about? So the second pasuk must be speaking about the husband that yarshins. So we see here both of these points: a son yarshins from the mother, a husband yarshins from the mother. So if she gets married to a different shevet, she can cause the nachla to go to a different shevet. Now the point though is that according to the second brisa, when it says in the pasuk "V'leisisev nachla mimata lamata acher," it's not clear what the pasuk is speaking about. It's forcing the pshat of that pasuk based on the pasuk where it says "V'leisisav nachla levnei Yisrael mimata al mata," which is the first pasuk in this inyan. Once we know that the first pasuk speaks about the son, then we say that the second pasuk speaks about the husband. Now, what it says in the second brayse here makes sense, al pi svara, because when you see the Yerusha that the pasuk speaks about from a woman, the first thing that it's logical to say is that who's the one that would yarshin would be a son. That's not a Yerusha, which is such a chiddush, because the son of a mother, yashins from a mother. But to say that the husband yashins from a mother, as we saw already from the Gemara before, not a mother, sorry, that a husband yashins from a wife, that's a bigger chiddush. So therefore the first pasuk goes on the son, and then the second pasuk we say is adding that even a husband could yarshin from a wife. That's the pshat in the second brayse. But in the first brayse though, it said the opposite. The first brayse started off saying that when we see the pasuk the second pasuk where it speaks about the husband yarshining, it's that pasuk where there's something in the pasuk that indicates that it speaks about the husband. What is that? That's what the Gemara is going to address now. Says the Gemara, the Kula al Memiyis, both of these brayses are saying that when it says mimata lamata acher in the second pasuk where it uses the expression that don't transfer the Yerusha from one shevet lamata acher to another shevet, b'sivas abala kasav medaber, that it's speaking about the husband. My mashma. What is the mashmos? Where do you see in the language of the pasuk that it's speaking about the husband yarshining from his wife? And the Gemara is mainly asking on the first brayse. Because it's the first brayse that's saying that there's something in the lashon of the pasuk that's mashma that it's speaking about the husband yarshining. Where? How do you see that in the lashon of the pasuk? Okay, the word simin is taken out over here. Some say there should be another word of it, but it's not clear what this word simin is doing here. Now, so Omar Rabba Barav Shila, so Rabba Barav Shila says, where do you see in the pasuk it's talking about the husband? Because Omar Kra Ish, it says in the pasuk the word Ish. The pasuk there says, V'leisisav nachla mimata lamata acher, and then it says Ki Ish benachlasai yidbeku matas b'nei Yisrael. Every man should stick or should connect to the nachla of his shevet. So the term Ish, who does that go on? It goes on the husband. Ish means the man, the husband. But the Gemara right away asks him that you're saying that this pasuk is talking about the husband because it says the word ish, tarvayu, ish ksiv bahu. In both psukim that we're quoting here, it says the word ish. By the other pasuk, it also uses the term ish. Ki ish benachlas. By both psukim, it says the same term ish. The Rashbamir says that the one that suggested, Rabbi Bar Rav Shila, that suggested that it's based on the word ish, he knew that it says ish in the other pasuk. But he thought that maybe in the other pasuk, there's some drasha for that word ish. He had some other drasha for that word ish. So therefore he says that the word ish in this pasuk is going on the husband. So Ella, they want to try something else. Where do we see that it's speaking dafka about the husband? Omer Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak, Omer Kra Yidbeku. It uses the term, when it speaks about that you should stick to your nachla, it says Yidbeku. Now that term is referring to a husband. Because by the husband it says V'dovak v'ishtei. So just like V'dovak there means the husband, so too over here, Yidbeku is referring to the husband. But again the Gemara asks that Tavayu Yidbeku ksiv buhu. In both psukim that we're quoting here, it uses the same term Yidbeku. So how can we say that one shows on the husband more than the other? So Ella Amar Rave, the Gemara concludes, Rave said, Omakra Yidbeku Matos. The pasuk says Yidbeku Matos, so the word Yidbeku Matos is through the husband dafke. That when you have the wife that's from one shevet and the husband that's from another shevet, and they both of them connect together, so you have the two entities from two different shvatim that get married and they connect together. That's the term that refers to the husband and wife. And the other pasuk though, it doesn't say Yidbeku Matos. It just says Yidbeku B'nei Yisrael. It's referring to the nachla, that you should stick to the nachla of your shevet. But over here it says Yidbeku Matos. It's referring to the husband and wife that come from two different shvatim that connect to one another. Ravashi Omar, Ravashi says, Omakro mimate lemata acher, that over here in this pasuk, it says, do not transfer the Yerusha from one shevet to a mata acher, to another shevet. Uben lav acherhu. Regarding a son, you can't use the term acher. If it would be the son that's yashning from a mother, you can't say on the son regarding the mother that the son is a acher. He's someone else. The son is a piece of the mother. Mashenkin regarding a husband and wife, over here you could say the term acher, that the husband and the wife, they're two different entities that become connected, but they're two different entities. So the fact that the Torah uses the term acher in this pasuk, that's the source that in this pasuk we're speaking about the husband, the Yerusha of the Baal. Okay, now the Gemara brings another halacha here regarding this. Amar Bavo, Amar Yechanan. This is going back b'chlal to the general din of Yerushas Habal that the Gemara is discussing here, that the husband yashins his wife. So Bavo said in the name of Rabbi Yechanan, Amar Rabbi Yanai, in the name of Yanai, Rabbi Yanai that is, Amar Rebbe, in the name of Rebbe. And Umatu Ba, and they brought this Mishmei, the Rabbi Yeshua ben Karcha. Minayim, from where do I know Lebal? When it comes to a husband that inherits his wife. He will not inherit from his wife something that she potentially owns, only something that she actually owns. Meaning if his wife already yashin from her father something, before she passed away, she already got that Yerusha, and then she passes away. So since she already had it in her possession, now her husband will yashin that from her. That's what's called muchsik, she already got it. Roy means, what's if his wife passed away before her father passed away? Now, after she passes away, now her father passes away without any other children, and now that Yerusha comes to her. But when she passed away, she didn't have that Yerusha yet. It was a potential that she could have yashned from her father, but she didn't have it yet. So in such a case, the husband will not get that Yerusha that comes from her father if when she was alive, it was only Roy, it was only in potential. So how do we know this halacha? No, it doesn't work like that. By every Yerusha, you yashin even beroy. For example, let's take this case itself. A son that yashins a mother. As we were speaking about before, there's a husband that yashins a mother. So again, a husband that yashins a wife. Or there's a son that can yashin from a mother. When a son yashins from a mother, the son will yashin everything from the mother. Whatever the mother had when she was alive, and even if the mother passes away before her father passes away, the son, which is the grandson, will yashin from the grandfather through the mother. That the mother's not alive anymore, but because this is the mother's Yerusha, potentially, after she passed away, the son will yashin that. But it doesn't work that way by a husband. By a husband, he only yashins from his wife what his wife had when she was alive. What she doesn't have when she's alive, he doesn't yashin from her. That's the chiddush here. Now, the chiddush over here is, even though the husband is the one that yashins before a son. If the husband is, when the wife passes away, and there's a husband and there's a son, who yashins? The husband yashins before the son. But even though the husband yashins before the son, but he only yashins what the wife had then in her possession, but not roy, not what could come potentially from the grandfather. So the source for this is Shenema. The pasuk says, "Usagov hailot this yar." Segov gave birth to Yair, and Vayihi Loi, and Yair had Esrim V'Shalish Arim Be'eretz HaGilad. He owned 23 cities in Eretz HaGilad. Now the Gemara brought this already before, and a few daf before, and there the Gemara dashened it for something else, but here the Gemara dashens it regarding this halacha. Now when it says here that he had these 23 cities, Minayin LeYair Shalei Hayalei Lezgov. How did Yair have something that his father's Zgov did not have? It sounds like he didn't yashin from his father. He got it himself. So how did he get this on his own? Elo, says the Braise, Rabbi Shua ben Karcha, he teaches, from here you see, Melamed, Shanasa Zgovisha. What happened is, Zgov was married. Umeisa b'chaye moiri sheha. And his wife passed away before her father that she would have yashin from her father. And then, Umeisa moiri sheha, after she passed away, now the grandfather passed away, v'yar sheyar. So the husband, Segov, did not yashin from his wife because she didn't yet get that Yerusha from her father. But now after she passed away, her father passed away, and now Yoir, which is the grandson, he yashin from the grandfather. That's what happened there. That's how Yoir got something with skipping his father. He got it, he yashin from his mother without his father in between. V'oimer, another place where we see this, that a son can yashin something, skipping the father. It says in the pasuk, "Ve'loza ben Adam meis vayikbru v'gaimer," which is also a pasuk the Gemara brought before, and it says there in the continuation of the pasuk that where was Eloza ben Adam buried? Begivas Pinchas benai, in a mountain of Pinchas' son. So now, how does Pinchas have this territory that he did not get from his father? That's what it sounds like. This belonged to Pinchas. He didn't get it from his father. How did he inherit it? By skipping his father. The answer is, again, Melamed, what happened over here is, Shenasa Elazar Isha. Elazar was married to a wife. Umeisa b'chayim Marisha. She passed away before her father passed away. And so therefore, the husband did not yashin anything from her father because she didn't have it yet in her lifetime. And then then her father dies, and V'yarsha Pinchas. And in this case, we say that only the son yarshins that, but not the husband. The husband does not get from what the wife could have gotten in potential. And so therefore V'yarsha. So therefore Pinchas got this. Okay, so that's the unique chiddush over here. Okay, the Taisus over here points out that you see over here that on one hand there's an advantage to the Yerusha of the husband, and on the other hand, there's an advantage in the Yerusha of the son. On one hand, the husband comes before a son, and the reason why the husband comes before the son is because a husband is not Yarshin similar to any other Yerusha. He doesn't Yarshin like because of being a relative. He Yarshins because he's a husband. And by a husband, the Pasuk says, V'davak v'ishter v'hoyu l'basar echad, that they're considered to be one entity. So therefore, he Yarshins before anyone else. If the husband's alive, the husband Yarshins, not the son, not anyone else. But on the other hand, though, dafke b'negei to a son, where there's the regular din of Yerusha mitzad korva, mitzad being a relative, the son will yarshin even what's in potential, even that what comes then from the mother's father, and that doesn't apply by a husband. Okay, now the Gemara here explains the Braisa. Umay v'oimer. Why does that have to bring two sources here for this concept? We find this by Yair and we find this by Pinchas. Because if you'll argue and say, what happened over here is, how did Yair get his Yerusha? Not from his mother, not from the grandfather through his mother, but rather Yair himself married a wife, and she passed away. V'yarsa, and he yarshed from his own wife. This is how the Gemara quoted this Indian before, according to another opinion. So maybe we could say that's what happened. He got a Yerusha not from the father because he got it from his own wife. Why are we saying it came from his mother or from his mother's father? So therefore, even if it's true in that pasuk, we could teach that way, but we have another pasuk. Talmud Leima v'Elazar ben Aaron meis. It says in the second pasuk that Elazar ben Aaron died and Pinchas had his own Yerusha. So over here in this pasuk, it's saying something else. It's not saying the same story here to repeat the same thing that he got it from his wife. Over here, it's saying it in order to tell you that Pinchas got this Yerusha through his mother from his grandfather. Now here the Gemara asked, and this was a question the Gemara also asked earlier when it brought these psukim. Why can't we simply say that the way how Pinchas got this territory was not through any Yerusha at all? Maybe Pinchas got this territory because he's a Kayin, and a person that's makdish a property to hektish, and he uses the term zdei chedem, that I'm being machrim to hektish. That term means that you give it to the Kayinim. So maybe this was dedicated to Pinchas, and Pinchas got it. It goes to Kayanim, but it depends which Kayan is there serving then, and that's the Kayan that gets it. So maybe he was the Kayan that got it, and that's how he got it, and nothing to do with the Yerusha, and it didn't come from his father. So the Gemara says, no, but there's a diak here in the Pasuk. Makra, the Pasuk says, Benoi. The Pasuk says, Vayikbru Oisai begivas Pinchas Benoi, the son of Elazar. So that word Benoi is extra. This is one of the pshatim that Rashbam says in the name of Rabbeinu Chananel, that why does it have to say Benoi? Everybody knows that Pinchas is Elazar's son. So what's this word Benoi? What this means is Nachla Haruya Loi V'Yarsha Benoi. What we're talking about over here is a Nachla that potentially his father Elazar could have yarshened this, but he didn't, and in the end the son yarshened it. What is that? A Yerusha that comes from the mother/wife that potentially could have gone to the father Elazar. If his wife's father would have passed away before the wife, then his wife would have yarshened it, and then it would have gone to Elazar. But because his wife passed away before the grandfather, before her father passed away, therefore it ended up by Pinchas and not by Elazar. So the pasuk is using the term benoi to say that it was a chiddush that it went to the son. It was a Yerusha that could have gone to the father Elazar, but because of the order, the way it happened, that the grandfather passed away after his mother passed away, therefore it ended up by the grandson, by Pinchas. Mashenkin, if it would have been Stei Charamim, then it wouldn't say in the pasuk the word Benai. Stei Charamim just simply means that it goes to Pinchas. It never had any connection to the father, to Elazar in the first place. It was a Stei Cherem that belonged to Pinchas. So the pasuk is saying Benai to make this point, that it was a type of Yerusha that could have gone to the father, but it ended up skipping the father and it went to the son, Benai. Therefore, that's the source for this concept that a son yashins a mother, even something which is roi, which is in potential, but not a husband. Okay, going back to the Mishnah. The Mishnah said the bnei achos, that when you have the sons of a sister, they can yashin from their uncle. Meaning, if their uncle passes away, and the uncle has no sons, has no brothers, and no father. So the only one to yashin that uncle would be their mother, the sister. And now, if their mother passed away, so these children here, these sons, being the sons of this mother, that's a brother to the uncle. So these sons will yashin their uncle. That's what it. It's very simple. We're talking here about nephews that are yashining an uncle, and we're talking specifically, the Mishnah is talking specifically about a case where nephews are yashining their uncle because it's their mother's brother. They're yashining from their mother's brother. The Mishnah brought this as an example where they are going to be neichelin, they're going to be yashin from their uncle, but they're not going to be manchel. There's no way you can say that if these nephews pass away, that the uncle will yashin from them. Because since it's coming through a mother, so the relation here is a maternal relation. It's a relation through a mother. It doesn't. The Yerusha from the nephews will not go to the uncle. But the other way around, though, there will be a Yerusha. If the uncle dies and the sister is not alive anymore, then the sons of this sister, the nephews, will yashin from the uncle. That was the example of the Mishnah. Now, Tana, on this we learned in the Braise that the Mishnah says this, b'nei achos. It's talking about the nephews, specifically the sons. V'loi b'nei achos. But we're not talking about daughters. The nieces will not yashin from their uncle. That's what it sounds simply like what it's saying here. But the Gemara clarifies what this means. The Gemara now clarifies what this means. L'mai hilchasa. What did this Braise mean to say? Because we can't actually learn that it means the simple pshat that nieces don't inherit, because nieces would inherit. If there's no nephews, then the next one in line to inherit is the nieces. So why does it say that the nieces don't inherit? Amar Rav Sheshes, Rav Sheshes says all it meant is lakadim, that the nephews come before the nieces. If there's nephews, they yashin and not the nieces. But if there's no nephews, then the nieces will yashin. Okay, so basically the chiddush here in this brayse is similar to what we know regarding Yerusha B'chlal, the original Yerusha by a son and a daughter, that the son yashins. If there's no son, only then the daughter yashins. The same thing over here when we talk about nieces and nephews that could yashin. It's the nieces will only yashin if there's no nephew. But if there's a nephew, if there's a son, then the son yashins. So now here the Gemara brings the source for this. Tani Rav Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak Kamed Rav Hone. The pasuk says v'yarash with a vav. Now this is in the pasuk in the end of when it talks about all the different kinds of ifanim of Yerusha. The pasuk starts off talking about a son yashining. Then if not a son, then we go to the daughter. And then here in this pasuk it says if you go to a brother, and the father, the brother. V'mein achim la'av. And then in the satvus nachlas l'sheirei kadav elov, according to one pshat before in the Gemara that referred to a father, and it's out of order, or it refers to a wife. And then it says v'yarash oisa with the vav. What does that v'yarash with the vav come to say? Makish Yerusha Shniya Yerusha Rishona. We compare the Yerushas that it speaks about later in the pasuk to the first Yerusha in the pasuk, which is a son. That's the original. That's the first Yerusha. Ma Yerusha Rishona. Just like when it comes to the first Yerusha in the pasuk, Ben Kaidem Labas. A son comes before the daughter. Af Yerusha Shniya. So too when it comes to the later Yerushas in the pasuk, Ben Kaidem Labas. A son comes before the daughter. So that means, for example, when you have a brother that yashins, so a brother would yashin before a sister. If there's a brother alive, then the brother yashins. If not a brother, then you go to the sister. And the same thing regarding all other levels of Yerusha, you always go to the Zachar, to the Ben before the Bas. And the same thing is also over here, benegay to what we're talking about, a nephew or a niece. First the nephew yashins. If there's no nephew, then I say the niece yashins. Another halacha, the Gemara now says, Tanu Rabbe Bar Chanine Kameid Rav Nachman. Abba Bar Chanine taught in front of Rav Nachman, in the pasuk that it says there also in the parsha of Nachlos, V'hoya b'yoyim hanchiloi esbanav. It'll be on the day that a person bequeaths to his son. So he learns out from the word bayayim atamapel nachlois, viatamapel nachlois balayla. By day you can bequeath, but by night you can't. That's the simple translation of the words that he taught from what it says in the Braisa. So the Gemara will clarify what does this mean. Amalei Abaye, so Abaye asks, Elamayata. So are you saying that this Braisa is saying that the shachiv biyamame, who the yarsile bane, a person that passes away by day, by yom, he's passing away by day, then his children will yarshin him, but man the shachiv balelia, but if he passes away at night, lo yarsile bane, that his children will not yarshin him? How does that make sense? How could you say that there's no Yerusha if someone passes away by night? So the Gemara explains, Dilme, perhaps the pshat in this brayse says as follows. Din nachles kamrit. It's coming to say regarding the timing of when Bezdin will judge regarding the halacha of a nachla, who gets the inheritance and so on. A din taita. The din taita of nachles should only be by day and not by night. And this is just like it is with all money matters, that the Bezdin only judges for money matters during the day and not during the night. Because it says b'yayim hanchiloi, and we consider Yerusha to be a money matter. There would be a svara to say that maybe Yerusha is not exactly like a sale or a money matter. It's just a matter of dividing between the brothers, or it's just it's not. So over here, what he's saying is no, that in this pasuk it's telling you that the nachla is considered to be an issue of a judgment of a money matter, and therefore this could only be by day. So the Gemara brings a Braise where we see this concept. The Tanya, the Braise says, "V'hoisa l'vnei Yisrael l'chukas mishpat." This should be for Yidden chukas mishpat. It uses the term here, and this is the pasuk which speaks about inheritance, and it uses the term chukas mishpat. Oira kol haparsha kula liyes din. It's establishing, it's saying that this whole happening of inheritance is considered to be a mishpat, a judgment of a money matter. Okay, so here the Rashbam explains that this is not only regarding the Yerusha of B'yayim and Chiles Banov, when there's a son, but any type of Yerusha. Any type of Yerusha is considered to be a judgment of a money matter, which must be dafke by day, because it says B'yayim hanchilai. And therefore, we learn out from this as follows. Rav Yehuda, and this is what Rav Yehuda explained. The Amar Rav Yehuda said, Shloisha shenichnasu levaker es achayla. 3 people. Now, the number 3 here is because that's the minimum of a bezdin. So 3 people can be a bezdin for themselves. So these 3 people that walk into a person that's on his deathbed, and they walk in to visit him. Now, this person on his deathbed is writing or saying, actually, he's saying who he wants to give the Yerusha, his children. He's dividing the Yerusha. So now these 3 people there as a bezdin, Ratzu Kaisvin, if they want, they can write down what this person is saying, meaning that they'll serve like witnesses and just write it down. And then later on, it'll be brought, the document of what they write, they'll come and testify later about what they heard and about what they wrote. Like so they can, again? Like a will, basically write down a will, and they'll serve just as witnesses if they want. Ratzu oisen din. However, if they want, they can serve as dayanim right there, meaning that they don't have to be witnesses at all. They're not witnesses, they are actually the judges. And they can be done the din right now. They are 3 judges, and they're done as a bezdin, that whatever this person says is going to be. Because right now they can judge as a bezdin. Okay, so they have this choice. Now the Rashbam explains, this is only if when they walk in, they didn't make up their mind whether they're going to be witnesses or if they're going to be judges. Then they have a choice. They can choose whether they're going to function like witnesses or they're going to function like a bezdin. But if they decide from the beginning that they're coming in as witnesses to listen to what this person says, then they cannot be a dayan anymore. We'll see soon in the continuation of this brayse. Now, shnayim, if there's 2 people that are walking in to visit this person and he's talking about what he wants to give to his children, so 2 cannot be a bezdin. 2 is only witnesses. So kaisvin. So they write down a will, what this person is saying. They noisen din. And these 2 cannot do any judgment. They cannot be a bezdin. They're not a bezdin at all. Now, Rav Chisda says about this, when it said in the Braise that the 3 that come in, they can serve as a bezdin, lo yishanu ela bayayim. That's only if they came into this person to visit him by day. Ava balayla, if they came in to visit him by night, then afilu shloisha, even if it's 3, that's enough to be a bezdin, but because it's by night, they can't be a bezdin. Kaisvin, they have to write down, they have to be witnesses. Ve'ein oisen din. they cannot be judges. Now, when it says here, ve'ein oisin din, and this also includes before, when it said before over here, ve'ein oisin din, when it's true, when it's two people, it means not only they can't be a bezdin right then, but even later on, they cannot become a bezdin. They themselves cannot be the bezdin. If they are here and they see originally what they saw as Eidim, they will never later be able to then say, okay, now let us ourselves be the Bezdin. Doesn't work that way. The Rashbam here brings, we learn from the Pasuk, it says, Ein Eid Nasadayin. The Rashbam brings, the Pasuk says, you have to come and the Eidim come and stand in front of the Dayanim. The Rashbam, where it is, the Rashbam here brings the Pasuk, that the Dayanim and the Eidim are two different people. You can't, the Eidim themselves cannot be the Dayan. If when you were there, you were able to be a Dayan, and you don't have to be Eidim B'chlal, so the Rashbam says, there's a klal that says, Lo tehei shmiyeh gedoyle miriyeh. If you are right now a judge and you yourself see what's going on, you don't need any testimony. You don't need anybody to come and testify in front of you what happened. You can just be the Dayan, right then and there. But if you are now an aid, and you're only an aid, you cannot be a dayan, so then you never, not only now, even in the future, cannot transfer from being an aid to becoming a dayan. An aid cannot be a dayan. Elamai, these people, whether it's two that were originally aidim, or even three, if it was at night, and they couldn't be dayanim, they could only be aidim, they could only be aidim to testify later in front of another bezdin. Okay, and according to the Rashbam, once they're Eidim, they cannot be Dayanim at all. They can't even have anyone else testify in front of them. If they want to become Dayanim and not rely on their own Eidus, they want to be Dayanim and rely on someone else that was also there to testify in front of them, they still can't be Dayanim. They can't be Dayanim in any circumstance once they are established as Eidim. That's the Rashbam's opinion. Taisus disagrees on that. Taisus says they can't be Eidim that are turning into Dayanim if they want to use their own testimony. If they're going to use someone else's testimony, they could become Dayanim. But upon him, the point of here is that if it was two, and therefore they were originally Eidim, or it was three, and therefore it's at night, and they cannot be Dayanim, and therefore they originally saw it as Eidim, now they can't be Dayanim anymore. They din. My time, what's the reason? The Havalu Eidim, because they're Eidim. The Ein Eid Nasa Dayan, and an Eid cannot be a Dayan. So the point is that we see over here from this Braise that the judgment of Nachlois is a halacha of a money matter that could only be by day and not by night. And therefore the Gemara is suggesting that's the pshat in the Braise that Rav Nachman brought before. Amalei, and yes, hachinami kamina. That's what we meant when we brought the lashon v'yahaya b'yoyim and chiloi, that only by day there could be a nachla and not by night. Obviously, there could be nachla by night, but all it means is that the judgment of the nachla, to be a dayan, there's no judgment of nachla by night, like all dinei mamanis.